KL Publications presents Workspace by Ryan C. Sanders. Renee sat in her cubicle, tapping away on her keyboard as the low hum of the office buzzed around her. At age 24, Renee had managed to secure a major position in a highly respected corporation. She had worked her way up through sheer determination, mental grit, and an unshakable belief in her purpose. Afrocentric in her identity, she carried herself with a quiet but powerful confidence. Her 3 children and her husband was her motivation, fueling her desire to climb higher in the corporate ladder and create a better life for her family. But there was one obstacle in her way: Lauren. Lauren had been at the company for years, but her career had plateaued. Renee, with her sophistication and drive, was a fresh face that brought energy and innovation to the team, and Lauren hated it. Renee's natural ability to take control of projects, her intelligence, and her calm demeanor under pressure made Lauren jealous. She wasn't used to someone younger, especially someone like Renee, stepping into a leadership role with such ease. Lauren's resentment had turned into a campaign of sneaky, backhanded tactics, subtly undermining Renee wherever she could possible. Renee had sensed Lauren's disdain from the beginning. There was no direct confrontation, no yelling matches, but the tension was palpable. Lauren would forget to forward important emails, subtly suggest to their manager that Renee had missed deadlines, or give misleading feedback on Renee's work during meetings. It was clear to Renee that Lauren wanted to see her fail. But Renee was no ordinary employee. She had always been a keen observer of human behavior and drew on the wisdom of her ancestors and thinkers who had come before her. She had recently read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, a book that spoke to her on a deep level. She recognized that in the corporate world, just as in warfare, one must be strategic, calculating, and above all, calm. Sun Tzu's words echoed in her mind: "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the results of 1,000 battles." Renee knew Lauren, understood her envy, and had studied her behavior. Lauren's attacks wasn't personal. They were rooted in her own insecurities. Armed with this knowledge, Renee decided to approach the situation with the precision of a tactician, aiming not to destroy but to bring harmony to the office. Renee began her plan by focusing on knowing herself. She remained centered in her purpose, her children, her goals, her growth. No matter what Lauren did, Renee refused to let it affect her internally. She saw Lauren's actions for what they were: distractions meant to throw her off balance. Renee maintained her composure in every interaction, refusing to give in to Lauren in her satisfaction of seeing her rattled. One morning, Lauren made another one of her subtle attacks. During a meeting with their manager, Lauren casually mentioned that the client had been unhappy with the late contract that was not processed, one that Renee had worked on. It was untrue, but Lauren's words were carefully chosen to plant doubt in their boss's mind. Renee stayed calm. She knew the contract had been well received, and more importantly, she knew that reacting emotionally would only give Lauren more ammunition. Instead, she smiled and said, "Actually, I had a follow-up call with the client yesterday. They were thrilled with the quick response, and I had the email from them to confirm that." Her tone was natural, neutral, and not defensive. The manager nodded, impressed with Renee's professionalism. Lauren's attempt to undermine her had failed. Next, Renee focused on understanding the battlefield, as Sun Tzu would advise. She paid close attention to the dynamics in the office, noting how other coworkers interacted with Lauren. Renee noticed that while Lauren was outwardly friendly, there was an undercurrent of discomfort in her relationships. People respected her seniority, but there wasn't a genuine camaraderie. Renee used this observation to her advantage. She began to build alliances with the other coworkers, not by gossiping or complaining about Lauren, but by offering support, sharing ideas, and creating an atmosphere of collaboration. Her natural leadership qualities began to shine even brighter as her colleagues saw her as someone who uplifted others rather than tearing them down. She was strategic, making sure to lead by example, and slowly the office began to shift in her favor. Sun Tzu's lessons on deception also came into play. Lauren was skilled at hiding her true intentions behind a facade of professionalism, but Renee saw through it. She knew that directly confronting Lauren would only escalate the situation. Instead, Renee used subtlety, just as Sun Tzu recommended. When Lauren tried to sabotage her projects, Renee would innocently ask for Lauren's advice on minor tasks, framing it as though she valued Lauren's expertise. In doing so, she disarmed Lauren, making her feel involved rather than threatened. Over time, Lauren became less aggressive in her underhanded tactics. It was hard to attack someone who seemed to genuinely value her opinion. Renee wasn't playing nice out of weakness, but out of a calculated strategy to neutralize Lauren's hostility. She wasn't just defending herself, she was creating a new dynamic, one where Lauren's games had no power. Renee's plan came to a head during a major project presentation. It was high stakes of opportunity for the company, and both Renee and Lauren had worked on different aspects of the project. Lauren had tried to undermine her by withholding key information at various points, but Renee had already anticipated this and had prepared backup plans. When the day of the presentation arrived, everything went smoothly. Renee's portion was flawless, and the client was thoroughly impressed. In the aftermath of the successful presentation, Renee's manager praised her for her leadership and foresight. Lauren, seeing the praise that Renee received, seemed deflated. But instead of basking in her victory, Renee took Sun Tzu's final lesson to heart. The greatest victory is that which requires no battle. After the meeting, Renee approached Lauren. "I just wanted to say I appreciate the work you did on this project. We made a great team," she said with sincerity. Lauren looked taken aback, not expecting kindness from the person she had been trying to undermine for months. For the first time, Lauren didn't have a sarcastic or cutting remark. She simply nodded and mumbled a "thank you." The office atmosphere shifted after that. Lauren's jealousy and attempts to sabotage Renee gradually faded away. Renee had turned a potential adversary into a neutral, if not a tentative ally, without ever engaging into direct confrontation. She had followed Sun Tzu's principle to a T. She knew herself, she knew her enemy, and she knew she had won without fighting. Renee's success at the company only grew. Her strategic thinking, calm demeanor, and ability to bring harmony to the office were noticed by upper management, and it wasn't long before she was promoted. As she sat in her new corner office, she reflected on her journey. It wasn't just her intelligence or work ethic that had gotten her here. It was her ability to navigate the complexities of office politics with grace and wisdom. She taught her children her motivation for everything she did. The life she was building for them wasn't just about financial success, but about showing them the power of inner strength, strategy, and resilience. In the end, Renee had mastered not just the art of corporate success, but the art of life itself. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe.